Hello, this is iPav, and I'd like to talk about the balance part 2 this time. Part 2. And we've talked about what's the thing about the following the majority on the part 1 and problems with that. And then on part 2 we're gonna talk about the simplifying the build and what the problem with this and how it's going right now. Well, first we're gonna talk about the items right now. Items. So what the meaning of the simplifying the build as an item wise is that one champion is leading to build one viable build, and that is leading to having only one play with the one champion. Okay? And then I can already see that there is gonna be people who is gonna say, hey, the players find the best build, and Riot is choosing the best build for that. And I'm gonna have to say no for it. No, that's not right. And here's an example, like AD champion building in AD way, and ability power iPav champion building in iPav way. And that's what it is. In season 8, oops, you cannot see the cross of that. So in season 8, you cannot see the iPav Tryndamere, iPav Rengar, iPav Master E, or as an iPav champion there is like Tank Fizz or Tank Echo, or stuff like that, you know. You cannot find an AD champion building it ability power way or some different way. It's the versatile build is gone. Although that Riot has been balancing for the majorities, not majority, all the champions on their primary build. Tryndamere building an attack damage build, 50% win rate. You know, balance it that way. Or Echo, only ability power Echo having a balanced, right? As an iPav Echo wise. For AD Echo, no, they did not balance. They just took it down all the way so that it's not viable anymore. So that's what I mean. The secondary build, what we call, is not balanced. Only primary is balanced. The good example through my experience is that Teemo on hit build was the best at season 7. Well, if that's the case, well, player, I found the Teemo, the best build was on hit was the best way for the Teemo in season 7. Guess what? Season 8 completely removed it, and they just amplified the iPav on a Teemo. It's not done by players. Once again, it's done by our Riot's way. Okay. And as time moves on, you know, we're gonna find a best build. No matter what, as time moves on, there's only one build. And that's actually yes and wrong. The thing about this is that a good example to this is as time moves on, there's only gonna be one champion that is gonna be strongest. Isn't that right? If I were to apply this onto the champion balance wise, as time moves on, there's only going to be one champion that will be strongest. That's the best out of all. But what does Riot do? Riot balances. Riot balances as the players fight to find the best champion. Riots keep nerfing and buffing and balancing those stuff, right? And that's pretty much what they do, and that's their job. But what about the build though? Did they balance their primary build and secondary build and third build? No, they don't. They completely remove a secondary and third build and only balance the primary build. And then with that, you could also say, hey, that's because it's hard to balance. And, you know, an excuse pretty much. Because if it's hard to balance, shouldn't the Riot stop making the new champion? Why are they keep making the new champion and then calling that it's hard to balance on the builds or the champions? So, like, this is wrong, that's wrong. Like, every excuses that I can find through the commentaries or even through my stream, I logically kind of can prove that it's kind of wrong. Or maybe there's better excuses that I can find. If that's the case, leave a comment. So that's 3 that is wrong. Now, instead of talking about the item sets, I could talk about the runes too. Runes. Season 8 runes. And the masteries. There are more people who talks about this more specifically, but I'm gonna just barely just give you an idea about this. So what is wrong, or more like, you know what, I'm gonna just pull out what I found out here. What Riot thought about. So this was a from 1 year ago. Where is it? 1 year ago, right here. From the Riot. So about this time, not last year, by Riot Works. Runes and Masteries have a problem. These systems are complicated, hard to balance, and don't give you enough rooms to customize your playstyle and adapt to a situation in Champion Select. And recently they've been doing this, and then they talk about the stuff. And this is a problem about the season 7 runes, or season 1 through season 7 runes that he's talking about. So here's the point: complicated, hard to balance, and customization. Right? So 3 points that he pulled out. Now let's write that down here. So complication and balance, and lastly it was a customization. Customize. Okay, so 3 points that he pulled out, that in seasons 1 through 7 rune we had this type of problems with runes plus the masteries. So in this season 8 it's gonna get better, is what he was talking about. Now the complications, see, based on my experience, I never found that the runes and masteries, that even as I was a new player, I didn't find it was complicated. Well, of course, the mastery wise, it was a little bit more complicated in rather than compared to the runes. But then it really never felt me to be disturbed about that. Like I didn't really find it was oh, these runes and masteries are so complicated, I'm gonna play a different game. I never really felt that way. But as a new gamer, you know, as I'm being new to this game, sure, everything is pretty complicated. But then it just didn't really bother me that much. And I don't think anyone really felt that way. But then Riot pulled it out. Okay, so which means the complication has been simplified at the season 8, and I agree with that. They did a good job on that. Simplified, good, you know. It's been simplified. But then because that this has been simplified, there is a less choice of the runes, which makes customization a problem. This leads, by simplifying the runes, it leaves less choice, which means a less customization. And so like they're saying as if there's not much of customization in season 1 through 7, but because that you guys are fixing this problem, this doesn't get to be fixed. It actually gets worse. And I can talk more about this too. Customization problem. A balance now is that the balance, season 1 through 7 masteries the balance and current runes balance. I'm not sure. I cannot be sure about this. Maybe Riot is having easier time balancing that. But I didn't really find the balance was a problem either. As a player, as a high tier player, a challenger, I didn't really find that mastery runes balance was that difficult. Maybe in the programmer, as a game creator wise, maybe balance was hard for them. But as a customer, as a player, I didn't find it the balance was any problem with the runes and masteries. So this is like a question mark. And even top 1 was kind of question mark. But yeah, they did simplify it really well. So now the new players and probably casual players get to have an easier time setting up their runes and masteries. That's good. And one thing that I found out that a lot of people liked about this new Runes and Mastery, and including myself, it was that it's not costing an iPad, it's not costing a game money anymore. So you don't have to play so much game, you don't have to grind, keep playing the game to get more runes. You just get the runes from the get-go. And everyone gets to have a same setup. Everyone gets to have the same Runes and Mastery setup. Same choices that availabilities open up, instead of there's no more grinding. That's the only thing that I liked about it. Now the customization, I'll talk about this on the next page. Here's the thing about the customizations. Customization, so let's say there's a sorc tree, domination tree, resolve tree, and lastly, what was it? Precision tree, right? And there is an inspiration tree too, but inspiration tree, okay, so let's say these are called the Masteries. It used to be called the Masteries, and then there is a rune system too. Inspiration tree only amplifies whatever it's given through here. So let's say sorc tree gives a 1080. Let's just stick with the 80, okay? Yeah, iPav's is there too, but let's just stick with 80. 1080 on a domination tree. I'm not 100% right about this, but we're just gonna keep it simple. 10 HP from the resolve tree, or precision tree is 10 attack speed. Let's say. And inspiration tree is just buffs up whatever is given through here. So let's say I got the sorc tree. You can choose two, right? So red color. Let's say I'm red. I'm doing a red sorc with the inspiration. I'm choosing these two. Then I get to have a 20 AD with that, right? Or if I do a sorc with the I don't know, resolve tree, then I still get to have a 2080, right? And then orange color, let's say I do a sorc with the resolve tree, then I get 1080 and 10 HP from the runes. So that's how the runes gets to be differentiated. Depends on what masteries that you choose. You cannot, this is complete, runes are completely depends on what masteries that you choose. And they're saying as if this has more customizations. And I'm saying that that's wrong. Back in, well, season 1 through 7, we were able to have 100% control of the runes no matter what type of masteries that we choose. So for example, like let's say the blue color, a sorc plus domination tree, let's say, then I didn't have to have a 20 AD with that. I could have had a 20 attack speed instead, or 20 HP, or 10 or 20. I can still have a 20 AD too, or I can have a mixed up like 5 attack speed, 5 HP, and then 10 attack damage. It's like I was able to customize in so many variable way, and I was able to test it out too. It had way more customizations, right? And Riot is saying that this has a less customization, and then this one, the new one, has more customization. And I don't understand what they mean by that. Like, what do you mean? So that's what I mean by customization has gotten really low, and that is also leading to simplifying the build, since the customization has gotten low on the not just the item wise, mastery and rune wise too. Item wise, they did it by balancing it, and runes wise, they did it by just, you know, combining mastery and runes together. And I don't think that this is good. See, the problem with this is that the minorities who used to get this customization, like for Teemo at least, I'd like to have a sorc tree and resolve tree and full attack speeds. But I only get to have a choose of 10 AD and 10 HP. I don't want any of these stats. I want to have attack speed instead. But I cannot do that, because I cannot choose. I don't have a choice. Too bad, you know? So the weak champions, or weak champions, or let's say non-meta, that is, gets to be weaker. a meta champs, strong champs, got to be stronger in this season 8 with this new rune, because that new rune is based on the majority. Once again, the majority pops up. Majority are what they consider a strong champs and meta champs. These are minorities. Minorities, the only way for them to do is just wait for themselves to get reworked. That's what it is. The weaker champions gotten weaker and stronger champions gotten stronger. And the game is just really simplified with the runes and masteries, with the item sets. It's very, that I feel, with all that, I feel like I'm like being an AI. And I'm facing against an AI too. I'm not the only one who is playing the same way. That guy, the opponent, is playing the same way with the same champions. It doesn't feel like I'm facing a player. Very boring, pretty much. But why are they doing it this way? Why? Question mark. What? Why? Like Riot's gotta be smart. We trust them smart. I like Riot, but why are they doing it? Because they're too smart. Riot is too smart. What is this leading to? The winner becomes a Riot because it gets them more money. If the champion is boring to play, let's say I was able to have fun with one champion for 10 hours. Now they're making it short. Within 1 hour, I'm getting bored with that champion. Well, while as I was able to get bored after 10 hours of playing. Well, as a champion gets bored shorter, faster, then we'll move on to different champion, which requires me to buy different champion and a different champion. And you may say, hey, the champion doesn't cost the real money that much if you're playing a lot. Well, that's true, but what about the skins? For example, I'm the player who has 100 skins, 100 champions, right? And there's a guy who has 10 champions. Who do you think has more opportunities or has more chances to buy more skins? Of course, the guy who has 100 champions. Well, not always that's the case, but the chances are the more champions means that more chances to buy more skins, right? So winner becomes to be Rider, but honestly, I did not think about it this way at all until recently, and I cannot find any other reasons. Oh, here's another reason. Maybe there's a bad management. One of the comments that I read, and maybe it could be bad management, but then that bad management is also leading to money, I think. Maybe they were just being bad. Either way, it's just all going for money, I think. So there's that. And what I'm really disturbed about this money issue with the Riot is a Kaiser. You have removed all the creative, all the secondary third build, for the every other champions, and now you made a Kaiser, right? Now Riot made a Kaiser for a versatile build. Buy this champion. She has a lot of builds that you could do. She has API scaling, AD scaling, she's fun. Guess what? But you've been removed all the other versatile builds away, and now you're telling us to buy a new champion for a versatile builds? Do we even get a guarantees that you're not gonna change this champion to have only one build viable? Do you have a guarantee for that? I cannot trust on you. So another example that there might be people who does not feel that this way is the right way. So here's the way. A burst damage. Burst damage or crowd control, let's say. People are more familiar with this. Let's say Riot removes all the burst damage and crowd control of every single champion. Now they made a Kaiser. Who has a burst damage and crowd control? Buy our champion. It's like we already had a feeling of what it feels like having a burst damage and crowd control with every other champions. We are used to it. but Riot started removing it, and it took them 4 years to remove all of them, right? And now they made a different champion a new champion called the Kaiser, has a burst damage and crowd control. And they're telling us to buy it because it has a burst damage and crowd control. Like, how much do you need, right? Like, do you really have to force it this way to get more incomes? Like, it's just disgusting. Like, it's really disgusting. As a player, I cannot take this anymore. So that's what it is. And here's an example that I could provide. What is also another problem that I think, in my case, that the simplifying build is. So I did call out that I feel like AI, you know? Watching on LCS and Pro Scene plays, it feels like an AI too. They're playing exactly the same way, exactly same champions. If they hide their names and face cam and everything and then the names of the teams, I cannot find who is who. Like, who's playing? I know the SKT versus the TSM is going on, but I don't know which team is which. Is red team the CLG? I mean, is red team the TSM? Or is red team the SKT? Who is who? I cannot find it. They're building exactly the same way. They're playing exactly the same. Like, how do you distinguish that? I don't even think the casters can distinguish that. It feels like AI. So, like, playing a Summer's Rift, getting to be meaningless. So what is more meaningful now? Champion Select. Champion Select means a lot now. Champion Select decides the wins. Wins and loss is coming through Champion Select a lot nowadays. And this leads to be card game. It's kind of like a card game. You don't have to play the Summer's Rift to see the wins and losses nowadays. Through the Champion Select, you can already see whose team is gonna win, which means that's kind of like a card game, right? Whoever has more champion pools with their cards, pretty much whoever owns more cards is just gonna take the wins. It's slowly becoming a pay to win. One of those games, pay to win games. It's becoming slowly. I know that players would not feel it this way. I understand, but the way that they have been doing it, it's slowly getting that way. And if you've been watching Pro Scene more and watching their interviews, they always talk about, well, Champion Select, we were able to win whose team was gonna win. Champion Select matters a lot. Like, pro team players always talk about the Champion Select. They don't talk about the gameplay as much. They say as if Champion Select mattered, decided win or loss. And I agree with that. They are not lying. They're actually telling us the truth. Champion Select was the one that makes the decisions because every pro players play the same way. Well, not exactly the same, but pretty much the same way. So that's why the game is getting quite boring, slowly becoming to pay to win. Well, it's not that Riot is removing all the customization away. Well, if you want to have a customization, if you want to feel the different, like you're playing on the same champion, but if you want to feel different than the others, guess what? There's a thing called a skin. Buy the skin, you will feel different. Buy a different skins. Play on the different skins. Pay more for us, then you will feel different. You will feel unique with the different skins. Now, I cannot say that they are doing it wrong, you know? It's just that, sure, as a business, you kind of have to force to be like a business. I understand it's a better business. But, like, it just feels like it's... the way that they're viewing the player is like, It's kind of like a feeding an animal kind of stuff. I feel very disturbed on this. You get what I'm saying? Like you guys been doing such a good job, and now you guys been turning this way because you need more money. I mean, if the money is really a problem, why can't they just pull out some, not forcing it, more like more opportunities given. Like, hey, if you wanna buy, you know, they could just make more champion. I mean, that's not even the thing. I don't know. They gotta do somewhere else to get more money from us, not reducing the funds out of us. That's how I feel. It's every problems that I can find about the League of Legends nowadays, and it all leads to this income issue. And they keep giving us some type of excuses like, hey, we just want the players to feel fresh. We know that the every change is not good, but you know, players gotta just suck it up and adapt to it. Here's the thing. Here is some of the things that I've talked with the my viewers in my stream. I think League of Legends could probably sell us some like end of the seasons. What does that mean? End of the season 1, end of season 2, end of season 3. Because at the end of the season, the game gets to be balanced at the most, right? End of season 4, 5, 6, 7. They could sell each season's, I don't know, servers. Just let us play on that end of the season 1, end of the season 2, end of season 3, end of the season 4, and look at which seasons that they had the most look at each seasons that they are having the most people that are joining in, and then learn from that, get the data out of this, and then lead the next season, I don't know, lead the next season 9 to be the one that is getting chosen the most. So let's say it's the season 2 that has the most popular after selling the seasons. Then, you know, lead the season 9 to be kind of similar to what they've been doing as season 2. This is like one, like we had so many discussion about this in the stream, and then I found that this is probably the good way to really do it. They don't have to provide us they don't have to provide us in a free way. They can just sell it, you know, sell it. I'd buy it as a customer. As a player, I'd like to buy pretty much every single season. I would like to try it out too, and then I'd like to try out, like, you know, the champions in that season too, and how it felt, and just look over what they've been doing, and then just, you know, do it just like what they've been doing good. And that's the one way that I thought of that they could be doing it, and maybe there is a different way. In, like, giving us more opportunities in the selling point, not like forcing it. Not forcing it. That's how I think the business should run, but that's just me. Maybe Riot doesn't think that I'm right, you know. So that's about my balance on the simplifying the build is about. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll come back with a different contents next time. And oh yeah, please leave some comments, and I want to hear your opinions too. Alright, bye bye.